Hello, everyone. It's cold. It's probably about 0 degrees. Well, a little bit warmer in here. I'm in one of the barns in my storage. Let me turn the phone camera a little bit. Hopefully, the phone doesn't come out of the cheap Walmart holder. Yeah, this section here is the first section I moved into on this old farm, owned by a retired couple. I moved my lawn equipment into here. Would have been summer of 2002. And this section's probably like I don't know, 25 by 35. Of course, you're only seeing one part of it. I rent different sections of two pole barns and then a grain bin on this property. I don't rent this whole barn. I don't rent all of the other barn. The only thing I have all of is the grain bin, which is about 18 feet across. But I'm just puzzled why. Well, no, I'm more like frustrated. Frustrated that I can't get help. I'm not trying to do a poor me, but for the people that are not my subscribers and haven't seen my videos before, I live with Lyme disease. I was one of the first people in southeast Minnesota to get Lyme disease in the early 80s. I got a bullseye rash on my upper right arm. I don't know, 82, 83, or 84. I was a neighborhood kid mowing lawns. Came in one day into the house and there was this bullseye rash, my right upper arm, and I showed it to one of my brothers and he says, "Oh, that's probably a tick bite." And he thought there was nothing to it, nothing harmful. And I started having symptoms from Lyme disease. Well, early 80s, almost nobody knew what Lyme disease was. The first case of Lyme disease was diagnosed in Lyme disease in Minnesota was diagnosed in 1980. But anyway, I wasn't diagnosed until June of 2013. I went about 30 years with symptoms and headaches and brain fog and back aches and neck pain, extreme neck pain, eye trouble. Plus, along with the Lyme, I got food intolerances, which got the name of leaky gut. I think in about the last 5 years. But I started getting worse in 2014, 2015. My memory started going in March of 2015, about the second or third week of March. But I could ramble on and on and on. But I've been on and off very sick since probably middle of 2014. And I have asked people for help. Friends on Facebook and family. And two family members, one helped for about 2 or 3 hours one Sunday in, I think it was August of 2014. Another family member helped me, I think it was March of 2015. The two axle seals were leaking on my 2009 Ranger, and I had another axle for it and I needed to put it in. And another family member went down to his property. He's got a garage and stuff, and he did more of the work than I did. I wasn't feeling good. And we got the axle replaced, and but I've asked relatives and I've asked friends on Facebook, and the only people who have said, yes, Boyd, I'd help you are, one, the gal from Montana that I was pursuing a relationship with. She's 1,000 miles away. That failed pursuing the relationship with her. She found another guy. And then 2 is a cousin that lives in Michigan. And then 3 is one of my brothers living in Sydney. So those 3 people were safe because they were such a distance away. They says, Boyd, if I was there, I'd help you work in your storage. And yeah, 2019. It's it's wee hours of the morning, Wednesday, January 8th of 2020. But my doctor, about twice a year, will write me a prescription for azithromycin. It treats, I think, 1 or 2 co-infections of Lyme, and it's also good at treating pandas. Pandas, you can look up pandas. Pandas is something you can get if you have untreated strep throat. I had terrible throat problems in the 90s before I knew I had Lyme disease. My throat would it was swelling up at times, and my tongue would get so tight that I talked with a lisp at times, and I had no idea what was going on at the time. Well, pandas makes you tired and gives you brain fog. And this, you can't be on azithromycin all the time, from what I'm guessing. So I had pills left over from, when was it? I think 2018. And my doctor let me go back on them in February, and I had about three and a half weeks worth I took in February, and I felt pretty good several days in March. And then April of 2019, I nosedived. I became extremely tired, and April, May, June, I think I was starting to get a little bit better towards the end of June. I was very tired. I wasn't doing anything else other than my pizza delivery job. And my legs were 24 hours. They felt like I had been running a marathon the previous day. It was constant, April, May, into June. And I think it was a flare-up of the Lyme disease. Lyme disease is a really smart disease. You treat it one way. It's kind of like a boxing match. You take a punch at it, and it punches back, but it punches back from a different angle. And I had the front brake rotors on my Ford Ranger were getting thin, and they warped in March of 2019. And I had the parts I had new rotors, then I had new never installed rotors I bought used through Craigslist. Rotors, I always have some spare parts on hand. And I drove that truck March, April, May, June, July, and I think I finally felt good enough to replace the rotors. I think it was August. I started feeling better For a few weeks in July, when I started drinking BAI. It's a coconut water that's sweetened with stevia. Excuse me, I just burped there. And stevia is good at... Stevia has some antibiotic properties to it. And I just got to make sure it's still recording. Yep, 10.5 minutes. Stevia has some antibiotic properties to it, and I started feeling better after I was drinking that. When I have a strong flare-up of Lyme, stevia will make my arms hurt because sweeteners cause inflammation in the arms, especially sugar. So I wasn't, April, May, June, I wasn't touching any sugar at all. No sugar, no chocolate. Basically no sweeteners at all. The only sweet thing I'd have would be from oranges. But I saw my doctor early August of 2019, and I asked, can you write me another prescription for azithromycin and maybe a longer one? And he wrote me a longer one, 1 bottle plus 2 refills, which is, I think, about 7 or 8 months worth. So I started taking those about middle of August 2019, and I slowly started feeling better, and I started working in here in September of 2019. For those that don't know, I have this storage. I got most of my lawn equipment in here, and then I got I think it's a 13 by 45 in another barn. Well, I have my Dixie chopper, $100 Dixie chopper, 0-turn in there, and one of my snowblower attachments, and one 260 series tractor that I need to dismantle. I got one right here, so September I started cleaning. I was feeling good enough to clean up in here. One thing I try to avoid working myself enough outside of my pizza delivery job that it affects my pizza delivery job. I try to save my energies for my pizza delivery job so I can physically perform it and so I can mentally be working good enough to do the job. It's a very demanding job. One of the manager cooks is very, very demanding. It's just very, very hard to work for. And you can get yelled at from this one person. If you make a mistake, if you're not moving fast enough, you're going to get yelled at by this one person. But it's back to I've asked for help. I've asked for help. Of course, I got myself in this place. I have too much stuff. I used to part out riding mowers in here. I've had probably about the last 15 years, I've had probably 50, 60 riding mowers come in and out of here that I've gotten for free or really cheap through Craigslist, and I'll take out a motor, take out the transmission, take the mower deck off, maybe sell the hood if that's worth some money, sell the seat if it's in decent shape, and the rest of it gets hauled in for scrap. If it was a cheap Murray mower, there's not much there to make money off of. Murray or MTD. If it's a John Deere, if it's a John Deere that isn't all faded and rusted and paint peeling, maybe I could make a little bit of money on it. Not much. But I stopped picking up mowers to part out because of this battle with Lyme disease. But right now I have about 9,000 in credit cards, and plus I have about a year and a half left to pay the loan off of my newest Ranger that's outside of the barn here, and my 2009 Ranger got rear-ended and totaled May of 2018. The frame is still straight, so I got another box to put on it, and I got a brand new radiator to put on it because the radiator leaks slowly, and I got to put a starter and then fix the heater flap. But once it's sold, I could sell it for 5, 6, maybe over 6,000. I run into people, they see me driving a Ranger and they give me their phone number asking, if you ever want to sell that truck. And all three of my trucks are 4-cylinder, 2.3 4-cylinder, 5-speed manual, good basic trucks. They're very reliable. But I haven't had health insurance in 10 years, and I'm battling Lyme disease. And there's this new treatment using disulfiram, a drug that's been around for decades, that they would give or prescribe to alcoholics, which would make them sick if they came anywhere near alcohol. And some people are finding great success with it. Other people are ending up in the hospital on it. There's some Facebook groups for that, where people are saying start with 50 milligrams instead of 250. But just trying to get help, to clean up my life is almost impossible. One relative, he was going to help me, and then he kind of changed his mind and says, well, I'll help you if you let me make decisions for you. And I says, no, I'm not going to do that. And then another relative emailed my mom I don't know if it was July or August, and I think I just saw a mouse. Behind the camera, opposite from my phone. I think there it is, up on the top. Just a tiny little one. That's interesting. But another relative emailed my mom and says, "Don't help Boyd." My first name is Boyd, and I'm just like, what? I'm not faking this. I'm not faking being sick. I've been doing pretty good September, October, November, December. I had a cold, I think, for a couple weeks in November. And then about the last 2 weeks, I haven't felt quite as good. I'm not really sure why. I'm wondering if I switched to a different turmeric. I've been taking turmeric supreme vitamin. It's a supplement, vitamin supplement, along with Curcuplex, a curcumin pill that my doctor sells. And the newer turmeric supreme is a gel type cap, and I have trouble with some gel type caps because of the leaky gut. And I should call them up and ask what's in it, and maybe I should go on one of the Facebook forums and ask about other turmeric supplement pills I could take instead. But anyway, I really wonder if I became so sick with this Lyme, is anybody going to help? Anybody out there? I've Many years since the early 90s, I have driven pickup trucks. And I usually have jumper cables with me, tow strap, basic tools, and over the years, I don't know how many times I have stopped to help people. Someone stuck in the snow or their car needs a jump. I think it was maybe August of 2018. I was at the Walmart in town here. It was late one, maybe August or September, and there was this guy and a gal, and the hood was up. And hood was up on the car, and the gal was sitting there. I think she was asleep in the passenger seat, and I got to chatting with them, or with the guy, and he says, "Yeah, I had to borrow my friend's car. I had to get my female friend up to." He had to bring her into some jail or something so she could, I don't know if it's probation or what, but he had to get her somewhere. And they were from the Duluth area. And the oil filter on the car he was driving had a hole in it. And she had no money. He had no money. And he says, I just need a filter and some oil. And then I could get back on the road and get to where we need to get to. And he says, I got a friend that works at the county jail up around Duluth, and she could send you a check. And this thought came through my head that I'm probably not going to get paid for it, but I'll do this one. So I went into the Walmart, and I bought the cheapest oil filter and the cheapest oil for this car. And I don't think I had a pan with me. I bought a cheap pan, and I had paper towels in my car, and I think I didn't spend much. I think it was with oil filter, I think it was, I don't know, 20, $25. And I helped this guy in the Walmart parking lot get the old filter off, put the new filter in. We put oil in the engine, started it up, and they took off. He actually called his female friend up in Duluth that worked at the jail, who he said was going to send me a check. And I talked to her over the phone and gave her information. Well, they never paid me, but I kind of thought that's what was gonna happen. But that was something. I just went out of my way to help someone that was in a real jam. And I'm just frustrated. I'm so frustrated. Here, this area here just used, August of 2019, this was jam-packed full of stuff. I did a lot of work in here, September, October, November, December, finishing, stripping engines and sellable parts or keepable parts off of riding mowers. I think I got rid of, I think it was 4 riding mowers and some other stuff. And I had 2 loads of scrap metal that I hauled in the back of my Ford Ranger truck. And you can't see it, but back to the side of the phone, there's more. There's more floor with nothing on it but dust. Yeah, I feel good walking in here and seeing bare floor with just dust on it. But I've rearranged things. I've moved tires around. I've looked at my tires and I thought, yeah, there's some more tires I could either sell or give away, or maybe bring to Fred's Tire to be recycled. I got several stacks of tires over there on a shelf, and then I moved around. I have gas tanks that I saved from about 5 Toro commercial walk-behind mowers that I dismantled. Those are like 5 or 6 gallon gas tanks. And I was going to use them on pull-type mowers I want to build yet. But this is so frustrating, just trying to get help. It's good that I felt good. Better, August, September, October, November, December. I'm feeling a lot better now than I was last April, but I'm just wondering if the azithromycin I'm taking is losing its effectiveness. That the Lyme, the organisms in my body that I can't fully get out of my body are figuring out what's coming at them and excuse me, and fighting it off. But yeah, last year I had two people I'm related to send me text messages saying, just sell everything. And well, I'm not disabled yet. I'm working almost full time. I like I said before, I try to save my energy for my job, number one, because, well, if I don't have my job, I can't pay my bills, my credit card bills, and my life just starts to fall apart right then. I have, like I said, I've sold some projects, I've given away some projects. Some projects I've just hauled them in for scrap because they weren't selling. This room here, at one point, I think, yeah, December of 2012, my doctor says, Boyd, I think you have Lyme. Let's start testing. And this section here, much of the time was so full of lawn equipment and parts and stuff that you couldn't walk on the floor. Or there were very few places you could step on the floor. You could walk, on top of the lawnmowers, step on a tire, step on a fender, step on a footrest. And then same thing over in the other barn. A lot of time I had that much stuff in there, and I sold an F-250 that needed clutch work. Sold that, I think, 2013, and I scrapped out my 93 F-150. I scrapped out my 92 F-150. Those, I'd have enough energy to do them when I'd eat a bunch of sugar. But I've been more sensitive to sugar in the last about, I don't know, 3-4 years. Because I lose strength in my arms usually if I'm in the middle of a flare-up for Lyme, because sugar causes inflammation. And I actually have experienced pain in my arms driving one of my Toro garden tractors that has manual steering when my Lyme is strong. So I picked up another one just like it. I think it was winter of 2015. Another one just like it, but has 2 more horsepower and it has power steering. I specifically wanted power steering, but just very, very frustrating to be in this situation. Because, I need to clear out room in the other barn so I can get my 2009 Ranger in there, start fixing it and selling it. I have a coworker that is asked, he says, Boyd, I'd like to buy that truck from you once you fix it up. Very interested in it. I mean, if he didn't buy it, I could put it on Craigslist and it probably would be sold in a day or two. I might even have multiple people showing up, having a bidding war on it. It only has 112,000 miles on it. And it's never left me stranded. They're very reliable. But anyway, I just really wonder if things got really bad. Am I just kind of, up a creek without a paddle? Oh, would people don't be telling me, oh, sorry, I don't have time to help you? I don't know. But there's so many times I remember, darn, it must have been close to 20 years ago, winter time. One night it was, I think it was about 0 degrees outside, 0 or maybe 5 degrees. The wind was pretty strong, and it was, darn, I think close to midnight, and I was heading towards the Cub Foods here in town. And there was 2 young ladies on the side of the road. They had a flat tire in their little economy car. And I stopped to help, and can't remember if one of them was out trying to change it or something. And I changed that tire for them. And I had one of my basic garage floor jacks with me, and they stayed in the car where the car's running with the heaters on so they didn't freeze. And I don't know if I didn't recognize them. Maybe they were from town here. Maybe they were nervous. They didn't know who the heck I was. But I'm pretty sure they did thank me when I was done. But, if it wasn't me, it would be, a tow truck coming to do that, or their dad or their boyfriend or something. But, I just wonder, okay, does God, when he's looking down from heaven and he's watching all this, does he keep count and saying, how many points did Boyd get helping all these people? Well, let's pay Boyd back some points when he's really sick. But anyway, well, I'm probably at 20, 25 minutes now, maybe 30. Oh, 30, almost 33 minutes I've been yakking away. Yeah, I need to go home. It's really cold. I came here to my storage tonight as the temperature's been dropping all day. And I got my truck stuck in the snow. And it took me a while to get it out. I finally put some sand in front of the one tire that was spinning. And then I got the truck to move back and forth enough that I just finally got out of it. But I got to finish hooking up the snowblower in my tractor that's here behind my phone. Hook up the snowblower. I got it on eBay. December 11th. I got it on eBay through eBay credit, so I didn't pay cash out of pocket. And the seller was just 8 miles from where I live, so. But I got another snowblower for that tractor that's a 2-stage, and it's just so big and heavy. It's very hard for me to move around because, I don't have anybody to help. And I thought, this single-stage snowblower is a bit lighter, easier to move around, and I thought I'll just buy that and sell the other one. But anyway, my fellow Lyme warriors out there, I know there's some of you out there that regularly watch my Lyme videos, and hello to everybody. But yeah, I'm on a whole bunch of Lyme forums on Facebook. I don't know how many of them are on there, and every now and then I see someone post the obituary of someone who died from Lyme disease, and it's young and old and middle-aged, and it's people that fought and fought and fought, and the disease finally just took their lives. And the sad thing is the suicide rate for people with Lyme disease is fairly high. That's very, very sad. But Lyme disease, it gets to a point where nothing will stop it. Nothing you can take, no treatments you can take will stop it. There has been a lot of research on it in the last, 2, 3, 4 years, because the disease is exploding. It's the fastest expanding disease in the United States. It's the number of people getting it is growing and growing and growing faster than any other disease in the United States. But yeah, there's a Dr. Horowitz in New York who only treats Lyme patients, and there's videos of him on YouTube, one from the fall of 2019, in which there's a protocol that several of his patients have been taking that he might have cured some of them. And then there's another second doctor up in New York that's has a protocol that might be curing people of Lyme, people that have taken his treatment plan have gone into remission and lived, gone like 2 years or more taking nothing, and they're healthy. I would love to experience that. But I might have actually been the first person in southeast Minnesota to get Lyme disease, because I was the neighborhood kid mowing lawns in Rochester, Minnesota. But it's been unbelievably frustrating, just unbelievably frustrating with the judgment, people telling me I'm faking it and all that kind of stuff, and I wasn't faking it. But anyway, it's cold. It's cold. I got my coveralls on. I've been folding my hands so they stay a little bit warmer. And what time is it? Oh boy, it's one of the wee hours of the morning. But anyway, well, I better stop the video so you're not sitting there forever and ever and ever watching or listening to my video. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.